日本時間3月18日午後6時、米国時間同日、MLB2025 年シーズン開幕戦、東京シリーズが東京ドームで幕を開けた SPORTSNET、LA、注目の先発投手は、ドジャースのエースであり、日本球界が生んだ至宝、山本由伸だ。カブス先発、今永昇太との歴史的な日本人対決に、日本中が熱狂している。この試合には大谷翔平や鈴木誠也らを含め、日米で人気を誇る日本人スター選手5名が登場。山本は試合開始直後から97、98マイル、約 157km 毎時の快速球と代名詞となった必殺のスプリットでカブス打線を圧倒。序盤は制球にやや苦しんだが、すぐに立ち直りを見せ、実力通りの堂々たるピッチングを披露した。特に鈴木誠也との対戦では、鋭く食い込む速球でバットを真っ二つに折るなど、日本人対決ならではの見応えを作り出した。実況陣も、山本の投球は圧巻の一言、MLB 最高年俸投手の実力を改めて証明した、と称賛した。それでは引き続き、山本由伸の投球ハイライトを日本語字幕付きでご覧ください。
Yoshinobu Yamamoto in his second season with the Dodgers, the opening day starter back in his home country. And before he even gets the season started, we got a little pitch comm malfunction there.
You know, there was some talk prior to coming here whether they were going to be able to use the pitch comm. Straighten it out now. Bill Miller calling a violation on that.
Wow, coming out hot.
Yeah, right.
No grace here? I mean,
come on, Bill.
All right, so 1 ball, no strikes. And now Bill Miller's shouting over to the Dodger dugout.
I guarantee you they're shouting at him first, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yoshi says he remembers vividly the last big league games that were played here in Japan. Back in 2019, the A's and the Mariners opened the season here. It was Ichiro's final games in the big leagues. And he remembers thinking to himself, wow, can you imagine how cool would that be to be back here playing as a big leaguer? He had just started his pro career at that point. He was dreaming of coming to the major leagues, and in his second season, it's more than a sentimental thing. He's earned this right to start opening day. And he's downstairs with a fastball to Ian Happ. And he's hoping that this game goes better than his debut came last year in Korea, where he gave up 5 runs in the first inning and was done. Such a telling thing about Yamamoto, the way that he came back immediately after that, and then in the big picture, of course, finishing with a flourish in the World Series. There's a strike.
I think if anything, the expectations for Yamamoto became the highest paid pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. He didn't start off the way he wanted to, but he kept getting better. And of course, he had that time off. But as you mentioned, the postseason, dominant.
Pinpoint right there. They talk about his increased confidence that he's shown in spring training. Natural going from year 1 to year 2. Dave Roberts said where that's most obvious is with his fastball, the way he's commanding it, the way he's attacking with it. He's home with a payoff, and Happ takes outside to start this game with a walk. What's he got?
Well, this is what he's got. He's got that splitter. He loves that thing, the four-seamer. Splitter is really the put-away pitch. Four-seamer he throws about 40% of the time, likes the curveball, will mix in the cutter. But the splitter and curve are really the off-speed pitches that complement that fastball.
Good hand for Seiya Suzuki, who fouls off the first pitch heater out of Arakawa, Japan. In the northeastern part of Tokyo, 9 pro seasons in Japan. Perennial all-star. He was the cleanup man for the national team and has come to the big leagues. Some time has flown. He's in his 4th year already. And after an up and down rookie season, when he's been on the field, he's been top 10 best hitters in the National League.
Yeah, he had a nice season last year, and it was interrupted by that oblique injury.
The 1-1 from Yamamoto. Breaks his bat, a little teardrop up the middle that's caught by Miguel Rojas. Sawed him off right there for the first out.
So far early on, Yamamoto really throwing the ball. 97, 98 miles an hour. See, this ball just runs in on Suzuki's hands.
That's the first impolite thing I've seen in the week we've been here. What wonderful hosts the people of Japan have been to these two traveling parties. Played the exhibition games over the weekend and getting the real thing going tonight. Here's Kyle Tucker, the Cubs' big addition this offseason. First pitch breaking ball, strike one. Tucker over from the Houston Astros, one of the most well-rounded players in baseball. And comes to the Cubs, takes on a featured role for the first time. He had Altuve and Alvarez, and again Bill Miller taking charge, letting him know who's boss. And to make sure the hitter's attentive before you come set. Runner at first, one away. Yamamoto's 0-1 pitch. At the knees, strike two, 97. It's one of the things, if you watch the exhibition games, that you probably picked up on right away, and that is the hush that falls over the crowd before the pitcher delivers. Takes the sting out of it. Bounce back to Yamamoto. Thought about going to second. Settles for the out at first. Two gone and Happ into scoring position.
Good job by Yamamoto just to take the easy out, not trying to make the great play. Early on in the ball game, you're just trying to get outs.
He's got two of them in this first inning and now faces the former Dodger, Michael Busch. Swing and a miss. 21 home runs as the everyday first baseman for the Cubs as a rookie last year. Only Jackson Merrill, the Padres, hit more home runs among rookies. Busch with an opportunity here with two gone, but a filthy splitter right there makes it 0-2. The league hit 170 against that pitch last year.
Yeah, a splitter to the left-handed hitter too is really difficult. Usually runs away. Tough for them to pick it up.
Back-to-back splitters to start Busch. 0-2. It ain't broke. And man, oh man, it's firm. 94. Unique pitch you're seeing more and more of. Part of that is the increased Japanese influence in the game, but it's kind of the in vogue pitch. It can return to the 80s when everybody threw it. The fastball is lifted to center field. Randy Pages puts it away, and Yamamoto pitches around the leadoff walk. After an inning in Tokyo, no score. Three players sailing from Japan. You gotta take a long trip to get to their hometowns. 3-hour bullet train ride up to where Shohei Ohtani's from. It is a haul to where Yoshinobu Yamamoto's from, down in Bizen, Japan. You either take an 8-hour car ride or a 6-hour combination of trains and buses to get down to his hometown, which is known for its pottery industry. You can even find some Bizen pottery right in Tokyo. Breaking pitch lands for a strike, quickly 0-2 ahead of Matt Shaw.
After that first walk to lead off the game, Yamamoto has just been on fire. Super efficient, landing the fastball and the off speed.
And downstairs for this one to Shaw. That splitter's at 93-94. Averaged about 90 with the splitter last year. I think he's cranked up at all making the start.
He's amped up, no doubt about it.
Home with a 1-2 to Shaw, and it is another firm splitter, channeling those butterflies better than he did in Korea last year, which he said was a big learning experience for him. And something, part of the scouting report as he came from Japan was how quickly he would adjust. And so many adjustments that these two pitchers had to go through last year to succeed. It's not just the increase in competition, but you've got a different mound, you've got a different ball, you've got travel over a much wider stretch. Shaw goes up the middle. Edman positioned well for the first out.
When you talk about all those challenges, just the familiarity of the ballpark and coming to the field and getting into routines. A lot of those things are taken for granted, but as a baseball player, you want to get those things locked in because that's the only thing you can control. What happens on the field, that you just never know.
One gone in a scoreless second inning, and a knee buckling first pitch curve for strike on Dansby Swanson. The first opening day pitching matchup of Japanese players in Major League history between Yamamoto and Imanaga. But those guys earned this. This isn't just okay. We're in Japan, so these guys get the start. Imanaga was 15-3, Cy Young votes. Yamamoto is at his best in the postseason. Fires 0-1. Swanson bangs a base hit into center field. First hit of the game comes from Dansby Swanson.
Just hung that curveball. You mentioned first hit of 2025. Just hung that thing up there. Swanson is a guy too. Yeah, he knows it wasn't where he wanted it. Swanson a down year last year. The Cubs are hoping he really has a big one.
Pete Crow Armstrong, who is a fan favorite already here in Tokyo. They're chanting his name, chanting his nickname, PCA. They love the style of play. They love the flair. They love the hair. He's got sweet hairdo. And he said hearing his name chanted was the coolest moment of his baseball career. Wasn't his big league debut, wasn't his first hit. It was 5,000 miles away from home. Hearing these fans care who he is.
Well, you know, and he's a kid too that he grew up, played at Harvard Westlake, from Sherman Oaks, but in all the youth leagues and, you know, when he was younger, he played on all the USA teams, and he's traveled, he's been overseas. When you mentioned it, he said this is the best experience he's had.
Bouncing ball to second. It would be tough to turn two with his speed. They go to first and get the sure thing. Into scoring position goes Swanson. Two gone in the second. So the Cubs have had a runner in scoring position in both innings so far. Yamamoto will try to pitch around it again as the young catcher from Panama, Miguel Amaya, stands in. Inside with the first one. Ohtani due up second next inning. 9-1-2 coming up for the Dodgers. On 1-0, Amaya cuts and misses. Man, it's eerie how quiet it is for the pitch.
It's almost like you're at the golf course.
Yeah.
Somebody's up at the plate.
Bottom of the second. Smack towards right center field. Headed for the gap. And the Cubs get on the board first. Miguel Amaya scorches a double to score Swanson. And it's 1-0 Chicago.
He'd start him off with two splitters and then tried to sneak a fastball. Just left it out over the plate. He had thrown some fastballs to right-handed hitters, especially Suzuki earlier on, that just ran in on the hands. And this one just got too much of the middle part of the plate.
So 1-0 Cubs. John Birdie making his Cubs debut here out of the 9 spot. Looks at a first pitch curveball. Longtime Marlins utility man who went to the Yankees last season. And now to the Cubs, starting at second base. Nico Horner missing this series, recovering from forearm surgery. They'll have him ready to go before too long, but it's Birdie getting the starts here in Tokyo. Yamamoto's 1-1. Swing and a miss at that splitter again. 1-2. At the knees to get him looking. Cubs strike first, though, as Amaya drives in Swanson. Chicago 1, the Dodgers nothing. But Shohei Ohtani due up second when you come back. The bottom of the third inning, game 1 of 2025 here in Tokyo. Top of the order for the Cubs, Ian Happ chops the first one that he sees. Yamamoto has it ricochet off his glove, and Rojas throws late. And so Happ's on to begin this third.
Yamamoto going after it. Easy to sit up here and say, oh, you just let that go, because you know the shortstop's going to come and get it. I think that's what Miggy was telling him afterwards.
Not that easy, though.
It's hard to get out of the way, but Yama's also like the best fielder out there. So and Happ's pretty fast too. That would have been a really tough play for me. That's just an in-between ball, especially off the turf.
Suzuki. But I tell you, Yamamoto's feeling froggy, isn't he? 94 with the splitter.
Yeah, he is the most efficient, prettiest throw I think that I have seen in a long time. Like, you watch him play catch and throw long toss. It's the exact same throw that he takes to the mound. And I tell Charlie, I tell my 8-year-old, I was like, just watch him throw. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is how you're supposed to move. And yeah, it's coming out. The heater's really good tonight, and the split. I don't know how you throw a split 94 and make it move like that. So that's pretty nice to have.
You got a splitter.
Yeah, I think I threw it twice last year. Yeah, that was fun.
94. No, we wasn't quite 94.
I'm throwing 86 in bullpens, Joe. We're just trying to get back. We're just trying to get back on the mound right now.
Where are you at?
Yeah, we're coming along. I've thrown 4 or 5 times off the mound, so yeah, it actually feels okay. So hopefully next couple months we'll get there. God,
cracks his bat again. He's ruined 2 of his bats.
So I think he's throwing 2 seamers to righties. If I had to guess, that ball's running a little bit right
running
there.
In. The only one that he left out over the plate was Amaya. And he tried to run it in, but that thing is just eating up bats.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had that. I was talking to one of our pitching guys, Connor, down there, and told me that he's throwing the runner to righties, and that's really tough to cover when you're trying to stay on everything else.
I saw you got to play catch with Yamamoto and with all the was it before one of the exhibition games?
Yeah, they let me know I wasn't ready yet. Watching the catch with Yamamoto, like he was back at the cannon sign in right center, just firing balls on a line with no effort, and I was just breathing out of my mind trying to make it halfway there. I needed a cutoff man.
Right.
So, but it's really fun to watch him play catch, and Yama's a great dude, awesome to have on our team.
Kyle Tucker with a runner at second and 1 away, leaves that one upstairs. I was going to ask you for a little window into his personality. We get to see it some, but what's he like inside the clubhouse?
He's a lot of fun. He likes to have fun. He likes to hang out with the guys. I think he's a lot more comfortable this year. You know, I can't imagine going to a new country and learning everything and trying to pitch on top of it. So, you know, and he got hurt last year too. So there's just a lot of stuff last year that he was working through, and for him to come back the way he did in October and have a full off season and now get to know the guys that much better. I think we all really appreciate Yama. I think he's had a lot of fun with us in the clubhouse, and he likes to joke around, have a good time, and so it's fun.
Behind Tucker, 2-1. Happ at second, 1 away. One misses outside. Have you messed around with the Japanese baseball, and how different is it if you?
Yeah, I have felt it a little bit. It's definitely smaller. It feels a little bit tackier. It's a good ball to throw, for sure. Yeah, good ball to throw. I don't know if the hitters would love it, but it's a good ball for us for sure. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, because to your point, it's not just coming and facing. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, the increased competition, but there's all those changes within the big change that he had to get through last year.
Yeah, and we're seeing, you know, Roki's going through it too. It's just, it's a hard transition period, but, you know, our guys know how to help him get through it. And gosh, that's such a hard pitch to hit.
Leaning on it. That's a great hitter right there that he gets to roll over for the second out. To third goes Happ. Cubs 1, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the third. Michael Busch comes up. How about the hush that falls over the crowd before the pitch is delivered? It's kind of eerie, isn't it?
It's like we're at a golf event.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to talk low too.
Oh.
Bushy's a good hitter, man. He, you know, we traded him away a few years ago. Obviously, Freddie's at first base for us, so we didn't need him. But Bushy's turned himself to a really good hitter. It's a tough matchup right here. Try to strain him at third. But I mean, that split to make a ball move at 93 the way that I don't even know how to explain that. Like that is amazing.
Why don't you think it's been used more over in the States? I mean, every Japanese guy, it seems, has got a splitter.
Yeah, I feel like we started seeing the trend last year. I feel like guys started throwing it. I don't want to say anything yet, but Bushy's hasn't picked that up quite yet. But yeah, I feel like the splitty's coming around a little bit in the States. Well, I think I've seen.
Is it harder to throw? I mean, for you, like, is it more taxing on your arm?
I feel like everything's taxing.
Right.
Now, right?
Yeah. At this point, yeah. Right.
I think traditionally they say that, right? The split is a little bit more taxing.
Man, if it ain't broke.
It's a good pitch right there. It's tough to go heater here. I don't know what Yama's going to do. Throw 4 in a row or
4 in a row.
If you want another one,
I would.
You got it.
Yep.
I tipped it.
Busch is saying, okay, progress.
Yeah.
I do 5. I give the hitters too much credit sometimes.
Go one more.
Right. I keep throwing like.
It's hard as a pitcher to throw 5 really good ones. You know, like
right.
You play your odds, but you throw 5 perfect ones in a row. That's hard to do. So let's see what happens. Yeah, see, he kind of flared that one out a little bit. So,
but EK, you're sitting there as a hitter saying, "Please, like I don't
give
care
me a
how hard
fastball."
it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to hit the splitter. I'm not hitting it. I mean, to Kirsch's point, you know, if he hangs something, I got a chance. But
I think curveball feels good to me right here. I don't know if Bushy hits curveball, but I think that was the slider. That was the slider. That was an interesting one.
I haven't seen that too much so far.
Especially the lefties, right? He doesn't really throw the slider to lefties. Bushy must hit curveball. That's my call. I don't know for sure, but
3-2. Back to the splitter.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah, the 5th one came. Threw a couple other breaking pitches in there. Clayton, we appreciate you and enjoy the rest of your Japan trip. We'll see you again soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
fun.
Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Promotions.
That's a fastball strike to Matt Shaw to start this 4th inning. Matt Shaw in his major league debut. Top prospect for the Cubs. 1st-round pick a couple years ago. He's played less than a full season of pro games when you put it all together. 160 games in the minors. AAA at the end of last season. And at 23 years old, makes his debut as the opening day 3rd baseman for the Cubs. Swings and misses, that disappearing splitter. And the Cubs went hard after Alex Bregman. Bregman goes to Boston. That opens the door for Shaw to crack through right away as they try to get back to the postseason. Only 1 trip to the postseason in the last 6 years for Chicago. Back to the splitter to finish him off. 2nd K for Yamamoto.
I mean, I know you can't throw that every single pitch. You know, we were just talking with Kirsch about it, but if I am throwing anything else, I'm throwing it for a ball, just to set up, just to go back to this pitch, if I don't want to throw 6 or 7 in a row, let me throw something off the plate. I don't want to give them an opportunity to hit the fastball or the curveball.
Dansby Swanson, who's got one of the 2 hits in this game and scored the lone run, takes ball 1. And it's fitting that with the Japanese starting pitcher here in Japan, it's the splitter that's the star of the show so far. One misses inside, 2-0.
I mean, we saw it in the exhibition games, the Dodgers facing the Tigers and the Giants. You know, their pitchers just nonstop splitters.
With Hideo Nomo, it was the fork ball. He would tape a ball between his fingers as a kid and go to sleep and hope that it would stretch his fingers out and help him prepare to throw that pitch. But a very popular pitch in Japan. Was for a time in the big leagues. Then it was one of those things where a couple guys that threw splitters that got hurt and you connect the two and it goes away. But then what teams have found is that when you look at the StatCast data and you dive into each individual pitch, the splitter is the hardest pitch to hit. Now, is that because guys don't see them? But there's been a return to that pitch, surge in the last few years as they've gotten that data. More and more guys have adopted as part of their repertoires.
Well, it'd just be interesting to see, longevity, how guys that throw it often, how long do they stick around? And there's going to be some anomalies that, hey, a guy had a 10-year career and that's all he threw. But I remember that the Giants were the first team to start throwing a lot of them. Roger Craig.
Whole staff in the late 80s.
Yeah, right. And then it just, that was it. Guys had a lot of arm trouble, and that was the end of that.
Well, the Cubs had a great closer in Bruce Sutter, who's known for his splitter. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Swanson. Back-to-back Ks to open the fourth.
As a Cub fan growing up, I noticed you didn't say Cardinal closer, Bruce Sutter. Right?
Cubs 1, Dodgers nothing. Last of the fourth. Yamamoto to Pete Crow Armstrong. Slaps a ground ball up the middle. Rojas is there. And a 1-2-3 fourth inning. First clean inning of the game for Yamamoto. Dodgers looking for some offense.
野球の新時代。その幕がついに上がった。場所は世界屈指の野球の聖地、東京ドーム。ここでメジャーリーグの新たなシーズン開幕が告げられ、今世界中が熱狂に震えている。その主役となるのは、我が日本が誇る天才右腕、世界最高峰のエース、山本由伸だ。東京シリーズ、それは米国大リーグが公式戦として日本で開催する歴史的イベント。ロサンゼルス、ドジャースとシカゴ、カブスという伝統の名門球団が激突するこの大会には、日本人スーパースターが数多く集結している。だがその中でも、山本由伸の存在は別格だ。彼は今やメジャーリーグのスターとして君臨し、日本野球界の誇りであると同時に、世界野球界が敬意を持って見守る絶対的な投手として評価されている。今回の東京シリーズで開幕投手という最高の名誉を担うこととなった山本由伸。その対戦相手はなんと日本代表として共に世界一をつかんだ盟友、今永昇太だ。かつて侍ジャパンの仲間として世界に日本野球の力を知らしめた2人がメジャーリーグの舞台で宿命の対決を迎えることとなった。まさにドラマティックな運命の巡り合わせ。野球の神様が書き下ろした脚本というべき奇跡のマッチアップである。メジャーリーグ史上開幕戦において日本人投手同士が対戦するのは初の快挙だ。両雄が激突する瞬間を一目見ようと東京ドームには試合前から数万人のファンが押し寄せた。その熱狂はかつてないほどのレベルに達している。そして満を持たしてマウンドに立った山本由伸の姿を見て球場全体が息を飲んだ。彼の投球フォームには一切の無駄がなく、芸術的ともいえる美しさが宿っている。その指先から繰り出されるストレートは鋭く、まるで剣のような軌道を描いて捕手のミットに突き刺さる。投じられた一球一球にファンの視線が集中し、その迫力ある投球に観客席が幾度となくどよめいた。だが、山本の進化はその圧倒的な球速だけにあるのではない。彼が操る多彩な変化球こそが、世界中の打者を絶望の淵に追い込む究極の武器なのである。特に注目すべきは、彼が誇る伝家の宝刀、スプリット。手元で消えるように落ちるその球は、打者の目にすら映らぬ魔球であり、どんな強打者であってもバットに当てることさえ難しいとされる。この東京シリーズの初戦に向けて、世界中の野球関係者は高校を揃えていた。山本由伸の投球は、まさに完全無欠の領域にある。そして実際、その評価通りのパフォーマンスを見せつけている。彼が投げる1球ごとに東京ドームは簡単と称賛の嵐が巻き起こり、世界最高の投手がここにいることを改めて証明してみせた。山本由伸が米国メジャーリーグへと進出したのは昨年のことだが、瞬く間にリーグを代表するエースの座をつかんだ。彼の新人イヤーの成績は驚異的なものだった。奪三振率、防御率、勝利数など主要な指標での木並トップクラスを記録。彼が投げる試合では 相手チームは最初から勝利を諦めてしまうほど圧倒的な存在感を放っていた。そして今、再び東京の地で投じる彼のボールには、進化した力強さと威厳がみなぎっている。すべての打者がその号泣を前にただ立ち尽くし、打席を離れる時にはもはや自信を失いかけてしまう。まさに完全無敵という言葉がふさわしい投球である。対する今久もまた世界レベルの好投手である。だが山本の投球を目の当たりにすると、その存在感の違いは歴然だ。誰もが山本由伸こそ現代野球界最強の投手だと認めざるを得ない状況にある。また東京シリーズの舞台裏では、山本由伸が試合に向けていかに入念な準備を積んできたかが話題となっていた。ドジャースの監督やコーチ陣は、彼ほど勤勉で献身的で常に成長を求め続ける選手は他にいないと、その姿勢を大絶賛している。まさに日本野球の伝統である謙虚さ、努力、情熱をすべて兼ね備えた存在なのである。米国の専門家たちからも、このまま進めばサイ・ヤング賞を何度も獲得できる可能性があると評価され、伝説的な投手との比較も絶えない。山本由伸はもはや単なるスター投手ではなく、生ける伝説、野球史上最高の投手という評価すら手にしつつあるのだ。この東京シリーズ開幕戦は、まさに彼が世界の頂点に君臨することを改めて証明する場となった。東京ドームに響く歓声と喝采は止むことなく続き、ファンたちは彼の投球一つ一つに酔いしれ、野球の魅力に改めて心を奪われている。この先も山本由伸の戦いは続いていく。彼はまだ若く、そのキャリアのピークはまだまだ先にあると言われている。だがその進化はすでに人間の限界を超えつつあるようにすら感じられる。日本中、世界中の野球ファンに伝えたい。この伝説の投手山本由伸が織りなす奇跡の投球をどうか一瞬たりとも見逃さないでほしい。彼がマウンドに立つその瞬間を目撃できることは我々にとっての幸福なのだ。次なる試合でも山本由伸は再び世界を震撼させる投球を見せてくれるだろう。さあファンの皆さん、この生きる伝説の勇姿を最後まで見届けよう。すべての試合が必見のドラマとなるのだ。